because we have Phillips, Lutke, Nelson, Norback, Olson, Regal, and Winters as members, as well as Summers joining us.
All right, so shall we get started then? I do not have an agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had it pulled up. Let me fix that here. Oh, I know what I did when I went to my.
All right. So we're going to start out with our minutes from May. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the May minutes, any changes or corrections? No?
No, I'll move approval. This is Katie.
Olson, I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we'll move on to the next item agenda, which is welcoming Elizabeth. And we just kind of briefly met her. Do you all want to briefly introduce yourself, and we'll have Elizabeth introduce herself as well?
Sure.
Well, let's start with Elizabeth. We'll let her start out.
Okay, so my main last name was Winters, so all of my art is made under Elizabeth Winters. EK Winters is how I sign it all. And I do pen and ink drawings of people, furniture, and I'm also working on a couple picture books, so that's been fun. I was an art teacher for many years, and now I'm a substitute teacher at Sauk Trail, where the kids call me Mrs. M because my married last name is Montemayor. So that's my long explanation of me. And I still have one child at Sauk Trail, and then I have two at Cromrie now. So we're getting into that phase of middle school age children, and one more that's in the TWE program at Sauk Trail. But I love art, and I'm a big advocate for the arts. So I'm really excited to be on this committee. So thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm Julia. I'm kind of new-ish to the committee also. I joined back in last April. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in sequential art. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia. So I moved here kind of recently. Actually, it's been almost 2 years since I've been here, but I do comic book art and I like pen and ink.
Nice.
Yep.
My name is Michelle Phillips, and I am the editor of the newspaper and chair of the arts committee. I joined the committee because I had art festival planning experience, and that is why I ended up here. I am very much a proponent of the arts, but not artistic myself.
Ooh, I can go. My name is Sebastian Norbeck. I've been in the Arts Committee since last fall. I presented a project idea to the Arts Committee, and then Abby emailed me back and said, why don't you apply to be on the committee? So here I am. I work for a company that commissions art called CodaWorks. We work on public art commissions around North America and Canada too.
Katie, do you want to go next?
I'll go next. Yeah, thanks. I'm Katie Nelson. I'm on the city council, and I've been on the arts committee for, I don't know, 4 years, 5, 5th year maybe. Anyway, I am a big proponent of the arts as well, and I'm not a professional artist like all the rest of you, but I'm a major right-brained person, and I love things that make life better. So I love this committee.
Jolene?
Sure. Okay. Hi, I'm Jolene Olson. I joined the Arts Committee in, I want to say February or March, just in time to help out with the art walk, art fair. Let's see, and I am a musician, so I guess I am here to champion and support the performing arts, as well as being a very big fan of the visual and arts and supporting arts in general. And I moved to Middleton with my family about 5 years ago. And so, but I've grown up in the area for the last, I'm not going to say how many years. And so it's fun to be digging into the Middleton community and finding a way to help shape its transformation as it grows. And finally, I guess Katie's calling out the right brain. I would say like I'm a weird left brainer, and so I generally I guess I have an engineering background as far as not like structural or anything, but so that's I think how those were the credentials I believe that brought me to the committee. Just those two areas. It's very nice to meet you, and I have one little leaving Cromrie and one little staying, going to be a 7th grader. So maybe the kiddos will connect.
Jessica?
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Wow. Every time I plan to have this meeting, it seems like there's a scheduling problem. Somebody's sick. So I'm here. I'm solo running the shop. And my future Jessica will hopefully have coverage, so I won't have to do this back and forth. So apologies. I'm Jessica Regal. I own the Regal Find in downtown Middleton. And Elizabeth, we have met before. Elizabeth has lovely art. It's extremely charming. And so I can't wait to chat with you later. And I'm also vice president of the Downtown Middleton Business Association. I'm passionate about art. I do a little bit on the side of my own, but mostly just really love supporting art in the community and all the other artists that I've been able to come in contact in the shop. And welcome.
Thank you. Erin, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, you're muted.
Because I'm doing laundry. Erin Summers, I have been on the Arts Committee for 2 years, so this is my outgoing as I've now been appointed to Plan Commission, but I still intend to stick around and help out with the kids' events and whenever volunteers are needed, planning out art walk. So I spent 2 years on arts, and before that 2 years on Parks and Rec, where I started getting involved with all the youth recreation arts. I am one of the owners of Sketchworks Architecture as my day job, and then I'm an oil painter on the side when I have the time. And I have 4 little kids, 2, 4, just turned 7 and just turned 9. So going into 2 at Sock Trail in the TWE program as well, 1 entering Sock Trail in the kindergarten TWE program come fall, and the other one's just at daycare. And that's me.
And I'm Abby. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Middleton, and I've worked here for 15 years since I came out of graduate school. I thought I would be here a couple years, but loved it here and decided to stay. And the reason that I was assigned to staff the Arts Committee as one of my committee assignments is because I staffed the Public Arts Committee in Iowa City before I came here. So I got to work on public art stuff there while I was a graduate student. So. All right, let's get your agenda back up here.
All right. So our next item agenda is Public Art Master Plan Addendum. And I know that this is just on every time. Do you have anything to update?
No, but we do have a new member, so I'm glad we have it in the packet because we just want to keep, this is the most current planning document that the committee has. We had an original public art master plan, but it was approved in 2009 and it's sort of kind of outdated at this point. So in-house, working with Meg McCombs, who's also on the committee, she's a graphic designer. We laid out this as kind of like a quick action thing that could guide us for the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay. Thank you.
And it was approved by the Common Council as well.
Great. Okay, shall we move on then?
Yes.
Okay, Art Walk event reporting back.
So it was on me to do this artist surveys and I only sent them out today.
Okay,
My apologies, everyone. The artist surveys did go out today to get feedback on the event and they're due by end of month. So at the next meeting, I'll be able to give you feedback.
okay. We did have a wrap-up meeting and discussed Art Walk. overall, we thought that it went pretty well and that we should continue to move in the same direction that we've been going. There were a few glitches. We had a little bit of a traffic problem with people trying to come out of the parking garage. We had some overflowing trash. And there was a third thing. I can't.
Yeah, if you don't mind me adding in, Michelle, I made a list the day of the art walk.
Okay.
We needed booth sitters for people when they needed to use the restroom. We need to have like official booth sitters.
Well, our volunteers were
Yeah.
supposed to be doing that were at the information booth.
Um,
In fact,
that's
okay.
That's cool. I think we did a really great job, but maybe we could have them be official booth sitters.
Okay.
We needed super large garbage bags to line the bags. We wanted more garbage cans. We wanted to notify the Middleton Station apartments better. And then
Yep.
we wanted banners at the ends of the street because we had the barricades, but people were like, well, what's this for?
Yeah.
And we want to draw them in with a big banner saying, come this way to the art walk.
I love that idea.
Well,
Art
we
walks today.
discussed banners actually at one of our planning committee meetings, and I can't remember why the banners didn't make the cut, but yes, that's a great idea. And I think Abby is on the right track with art walk today so that we can reuse them and not specific date.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Do you guys want, we're getting new banners done for our construction stuff at work. They're not expensive at all. Do you want me to quote one up for BPI? Like they have the nice like vinyl or mesh ones that are weather resistant. So you can just like zip tie them and reuse them ever many times you want.
Yeah, I was pricing them too for another project that I'm working on, and they aren't that expensive. What size are you thinking? Like a 2x8 or 3x9, or how big? You want it to go across the barricades?
For how the sections that they come, they usually are in like 4x8 is probably the size they print it, because those are the sheets. And otherwise you're just paying for material that they're just gonna cut and toss.
I am guessing that if our public works director was here, he would say that those barricades are official traffic safety control devices per the MUTCD, and you can't hang the banner because that would cover up the clear sign that the road is closed. So I'm wondering if instead we could set something like forward of it somehow. Would there be a way to like stretch into?
We had a sandwich board up there, but we need something that draws attention a little more.
Yeah.
We could put one of the pop-up tents like right and right behind the barriers, and you could zip tie it to the very top, and that way people driving by could even say, oh, let's go check that out.
They're not big enough to like hang it from like a tether, from like a light pole to light pole across. the
Oh,
street.
Yeah, I've seen that done
Maybe.
before.
that would be fun.
Then you just need extra string.
Do one at each end.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Or we could also have, well, I guess, yeah. If we put them up earlier, if we're gonna do them over the street, we could
Like a
put art
date.
walk this Saturday. The signs. I don't,
The only
well, this weekend.
the only comment I wanted to make on the booth sitters, we didn't have like a sign up list, did we?
Not specifically for booth sitter, but I will switch that out for next year for our sign up genius.
Okay, yeah, so it's really
I'll make
nice
them more
for-
specific.
Well, it
I
can
mean-
it can be the general volunteers. I'm saying for the artists, like for all the art fairs I do, they send one out by email, and then it's also there on like a clipboard when you check in. And like I just sign up for a random shift like midday so that someone comes and relieves me for 15 minutes because I know I'm gonna want to just grab something to eat, walk around, go to the bathroom, and that way it's nice. They can forecast it out, and then that's one person's job for general help, like whoever signed up in 15-20 minute increments, they just show up at the booth at that time.
I like that.
Well, I was walking around too a lot. I was up and down that street 1,000 times that day. And so I was asking people, you know, if they needed water, if they needed a bathroom break, if they needed to go get food or, you know. But yes, I absolutely agree that we should designate.
I'll chime in, Michelle. It's Jolene. There was one artist that I spoke to, and it might be the one that made it on the reason it made it on Katie's list. And I think that just luck of the draw, she didn't end up having somebody come by when she was available to know that she had a booth assist or somebody to cover her break. And that was specific feedback from that one artist. She was there by herself, and she had mentioned that. And I think that hearing back from you, and then just talking to some of the other artists that I specifically asked, like, did you get a break and all that stuff? They were all fine. Like, they would think it was just one person. And so that's pretty easy to happen, because she was busy sometimes. So
I have an idea. What if we just, when they're coming in and they get their assignment for their number, on the back of we could give them a number, and then on the back, we would say the cell phone numbers of the morning shift and the afternoon shift. And then we would just say, includes bathroom breaks, text when you need one, and give your booth number or something like that.
And we did I do believe that we gave them our cell phone numbers.
In the email for sure.
Yes.
Definitely did. I wonder if they thought that they couldn't text for that.
I don't know. I
purpose.
was also telling people, if you need something, just stop somebody that has on an arts committee t-shirt and they'll be able to help you. So
Yeah.
maybe Jolene's right. Maybe she just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
But yes, I'll definitely make the sign up genius more specific.
And then unfortunately, I did just check Google Maps. I don't think that the banner above the street idea will work, because there aren't any poles that are tall enough that are like across the street from each other. So I don't unfortunately think that would work.
They have those banners that have the stakes that you can stick into the ground. I'm wondering if we could position one kind of at an angle somewhere.
I would
close
like
to the
that.
barricade.
There's definitely a good option at Terrace and High Point
Oh,
Road. There's
yeah.
a big wide grassy median we could put it into.
Yeah. That might be an option for us instead of hanging it from poles.
Aria said we should get one of those blow up people they have at the car dealerships.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love those.
So, well, most of the feedback that I've heard, and most of the feedback I think the committee members have heard, has been positive. So, and our weather was perfect, and that's something you can't plan for. So I am very happy with the way that everything worked out. I think all of the things we're talking about that are problems are kind of minor. There wasn't anything catastrophic that happened. So
I think
that's always good news.
Oh, sorry. Just to chime in again, I think the last thing maybe that we talked about in the wrap was just starting earlier promotion. Was that the third?
Oh,
item?
right, yeah. Yep. I've been working on a rack card for you guys for us all to give out when we go to art festivals and events. And so I started working on it last week, but then I got distracted by work. So I am working on that. And we also discussed doing the call for artists for the promotional artwork sooner, because we were kind of late with that. And then I noticed that Spring Green is having their art festival this weekend, and I noticed that they have their application up all the time on their website. And so, leading up to it, then people will start filling out the application and sending it back. So I don't know if that's something that we want to consider, but definitely I think by probably August at the latest, we should get the call for artists out, and I would like it actually sooner so we can start using the artwork on our promotional pieces.
So the call for artists just for the promotional pieces?
Yeah, for the promotional art.
Okay.
And in the meantime, I'm using Erin's zebra again. I asked her if I could use her zebra again for the rack card that I'm working on, so.
I have a question. Is it open to artists all throughout Dane County or just Middleton specific?
Pretty much, we've opened it up pretty much to Wisconsin artists, so.
Could we send I'm part of the Madison Art Guild.
Oh.
I'm a member. So I was like, could we include that in our newsletter for the Madison Art Guild?
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
That'd be awesome.
I'd be happy to. pass
Yeah,
that along.
and we can certainly send links too if people are interested in applying to have a booth space.
Okay.
Do we have a date firmed for next year?
Yes,
Did we do
May
that?
18th.
May 18th.
Yep, May 18th is going to be Art Walk next year. I'm already thinking about food trucks and vans. Things that I can get out of the way right away and get scheduled and in place. So,
Good idea.
yeah, and I mean, when we started in October last year, I started on vans right away and Aaron started on food trucks right away, so. I did want to ask, I sent out a text if anybody had contacted the food trucks to see if we
Oh.
had deposits that we would get back.
I haven't, but if you want, I can do that. I don't know if I have all their contact information because I
Okay.
wasn't the original, but I definitely have Jakarta.
Jakarta, what was the other one, Aaron, that had a deposit?
The ones
it-
I booked did not have deposits. They just had minimum sales and I didn't.
Oh, none
hear
of them
that
had a deposit?
they- Mm-mm.
Oh, I guess it's just.
Let me pull up
Jakarta
this.
then.
Spreadsheet. Oh, so it's just Jakarta?
Yeah, nobody else had us actually send them money. They just wanted to sell $500.
Yeah.
Okay. I will reach out.
So yeah,
I think they all did well.
I was gonna echo what Michelle said. We should get the food trucks right away because some of the ones we wanted were at other events. So if we get them first, we can secure them if there's any conflicts that weekend. And then I was gonna say all our sponsors were super happy. Newcomb, the West End that was there in the very end. I mean, they said they would be happy to commit to like a yearly sponsorship. So that's awesome.
That is awesome. Good job, Aaron. You worked hard on that.
Yeah, and I can start, that's another thing I'd like to get going on earlier this year if you want the donation sponsorship help. I think that's something we could easily get more people invested in because if you contact them before the year, like this is how we do it for our company too, like people are making those decisions right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So can actually get on their slate before they're like, oh, sorry, all our sponsorship money is allocated. I heard that from a few, so.
Well, I can update those documents too, the donation letter and the donor.
Okay. And
Sign
then my
up.
last comment was going to be, yes, I think that we should have the application available. Just one, it's hard to find on our website anyways, right? But two, it's just kind of front of mind. So if we're handing out stuff, what did you say? Spring Greens Art Fair and then like Agora Art Fairs in August. It would be really nice for people to be able to kind of follow through and at least check out the application, if not apply while it's at the front of their mind.
Well, and we did talk about putting the website that Jolene created on the rack cards. And so do we want to then put that document on that website and the document for the promotional artist?
As long as there's no legal issues with that, Abby, I would say absolutely.
I think it's fine. I'm just gonna quick check the link because it was created in the Forum Center on our website. But I think you could post it on any website. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to.
Okay.
Yeah, it just goes to like a web address, so we should be able to post it on either.
Okay, are you okay with making those updates, Jolene? We're like, oh, we should put this on the website and we should put this on the website.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'm happy to, let it be used for, if you want to put a sponsor article, things like that. So a separate, maybe smaller session where, just send things you want on it and I'm happy to put them on there. It helped, I'm a new, very, very new to developing sites. So it helps me too. It's a win-win. I get to learn to do stuff.
Aaron, did you have something else you wanted to bring up?
Nope. I think that's all. I just bravo to everyone who volunteered and helped plan again. For someone who participates in so many art fairs, you guys don't know how great it is to not get negative feedback, much less get a bunch of positive feedback. So we ran a good show.
Awesome. Yes, good job, everyone.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, Jessica's got her hand up.
I wanted to also just say how amazing, sorry, that's my robot in the background. So he's my other employee that's here today. So you might hear some other voices. It's just him. I wanted to say, I had a chance to leave work briefly and come down, and it was amazing. I mean, it was such a great variety, and the food was fun. I mean, it was just, I thought it was fantastic. So thank you for everybody who organized it. I hope I can help out in some capacity this year. I'll have a better back. My wasn't able to do a shift this last year, but I hope to help out this next year. And I also would like to say that if there's some involvement that any of the downtown businesses can have in helping promote. I know, Michelle, we tried, and it was just, our timing is so bad for businesses like late October to December. I feel like everybody's kind of already like got their head on like blinders for the holidays. So knowing this ahead of time, if there's something that I can help out with communicating or anything else you'd like us to be a part of or help, I mean, we're here. I would love to be part of that also. And I can also send out an email to the artists that I work with. I would say we have about 200 different artists that we work with at the shop. And I would say last time we counted, we had about 75 maybe from Wisconsin. So I'd be happy to send out an email. I did that, I think when we requested it towards the end of submission time this last time, but I'd be happy to do it whenever you'd like me to.
Thank you.
For anyone that didn't see how the resin pours that Jeremiah Logeman, that was one of our Dynamo artists. These are the ones my kids did. He brought them by the other week. They turned out super cool.
Fun.
We're gonna throw some hangers on them and put them in their rooms.
Nice.
Okay.
But I would, last thing I'm gonna say, I would love it if we could incorporate some performance art. We briefly talked with like Steve Cohen and ETC, and there was the whole like, we don't want dual events competing, but if we could get something organized that was like a transition event, like that started right at 5. So it didn't compete with the artists and kind of redirected traffic downtown to, you know, support downtown businesses and help clear the traffic for the art walk. That would be awesome.
I think we kind of
Great.
got a late start on that, and we decided we didn't have time to fulfill that this year.
Yeah.
I
I'm just
remember
thinking, let
correctly.
them know in advance, like they can do all that part of planning and just kind of coordinate with us. So just a thought. Don't want to throw any more work on the committee.
I say if somebody wants to take that on, then that's fine.
Chime in
but-
right here, Michelle.
Yeah.
Jolene, no, I need you to be on the planning committee.
Well, no, exactly. But then I mean, why not both, right? So Jessica, I mean, thank you for bringing in the downtown businesses, because that is something we really, really want to do. And I think it's just having the connection and having the avenue in and having you know, sit in both areas. That's awesome. And I am happy to lend any help or assistance, you know, for an after event. Like, honestly, that is something that I would be very, very interested in supporting. And even, yeah, leading is probably too much, but definitely supporting.
Yeah, I would love to take that on if that's something that somebody else doesn't want to, or Jolene, us together, because it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. And I'm not sure, I had a thought about someone, but I'm not sure if you'd like me to save that for another meeting and kind of write up something a little more formal. I'm so new at this, so you have to just let me know what the right kind of procedure is, or if it's okay just to throw the idea out right now.
Go ahead, we're pretty informal.
Okay. Well, the idea I had is I wish I had the link right now, but I can send it to you all. There's a chalk artist, and it's actually not a local one. He's actually in Minnesota, but he also does a TED talk on art and how you can find art everywhere. And it was such an inspiring talk, and he's just a great, speaker, and the way he talks about art, he's very approachable. It seems like when he's talking about it, and the artwork that he does on the chalk is using things like the cracks he finds in the concrete, or the grass becomes hair on an octopus. I mean, he just does these wild, crazy drawings. And I know that he is open to speaking engagements, and that could be a really cool transition over to Stone Horse Green and kind of bringing in art, all together. So that was just a thought, and I'm not sure what budget, we're looking at and what he charges, but it was very inspiring to watch him. And he also has a book. So there's something else we could do too, as far as offering it sort of as a continuation in the community too. Maybe part of it goes back into the art fund. I don't know. I'm trying to think of creative ways to bring that back to the art committee and funds and things like that. But I can send that link to you.
Do you want to join our planning committee so that you can be in on
Okay.
these conversations?
Sure, I'd love to.
We would love to have you. We haven't started officially meeting as of yet. Like right now, we're just getting these first things kind of hashed out. But we've been meeting at lunchtime, usually on a Thursday or Friday.
Via Zoom.
Yeah, via Zoom.
Okay. Oh, that's super helpful. And usually I have coverage. It seems like I'm here all alone, but I really do have other people that work with me besides a robot. So.
Well, and we try to keep them pretty concise. We try to stick to around a half an hour to an hour, but sometimes we get out of hand. So.
Okay, I can handle that. That sounds awesome.
Awesome. That will be great. I'm excited to have you joining us. And I saw Andrea yesterday, and she said that she is thinking about the Arts Committee. And so I don't know if she's thinking of joining the Arts Committee or if she's thinking of helping out. But I would absolutely love to have her included in planning also. So
That's awesome. Thank you.
anything else? I think that's really, I think all we have talked about thus far.
Did you guys, we touched on this last year about this time. Did you want a quote from the art fair planning that we had come give us like an overview about a year ago? Or are we still thinking we're too small to?
I think we are probably still not there yet.
Okay.
But I definitely see it as something that we can work toward in the future. And I think that, maybe if we get to that point, or when we get to that point, we can start looking at the idea of a 2-day event as well.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I was curious if any of the artists had mentioned 2 days, because I know that was like feedback from last year.
I think in our last year's survey, a few of them, a handful, wanted it to be 2 days.
That is in the survey
Ah,
this time too, so that's an option.
Okay.
Kept that in there.
Okay.
It's an option.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing we talked about at our meeting was, what questions to send to the artists and, how to, what to keep from the previous year and what to eliminate. So I'm
Yeah. Want a
always,
state event, but with the security overnight, like, I don't think a lot of these smaller artists realize their booth fees are gonna jump from 150 to like 400, so.
I did hear something. I went to a training that our Civic Insurance was putting on. They're the cities and villages mutual insurance company that the city uses for property insurance. And they did mention on one of their slides that they offer event insurance.
oh,
So that might be a better option for us to, if we decide we want to go there, that might be a better, more affordable choice.
Would there ever be a possibility of offering for artists that don't want to have a booth out overnight? I know a few years back, you had some artists that were in businesses. That was the main way that it was run, a few years ago, pre-COVID. For an artist that doesn't have a tent, that maybe doesn't have, but doesn't want their things outside, that they would choose to have it in a business and have business and there? Or do you feel like that would divide things too much? It's just a brainstorm.
yeah, I think we one of the things that we've come to the conclusion of is that it needs to be compact. And everybody needs to be together. We did lend some tents out this year to people who did not have them. You know, a few of our committee members had extras and stuff. Most of the artists that we've been getting, and a lot of artists show their work outside. So I'm not sure that that is inhibitive for most people. But that's something, I mean, there is always the event that it's gonna rain too, and we don't have a rain location. You know, at the last town that I worked in which I organized an art festival, we had a community center. A good sized community center with a big gym. So if it rained, we could move all the artists in there. So I don't know. I don't know how to handle that.
Jolene over here. I think we should definitely talk about it in the planning, but in the large group here too. Maybe that's another addition to add. Is there a local business? Because, you know, we've got Kiva, we've got Hitters, we've got like places that have indoor spaces, you know, that maybe we could get a quote for to have as a rain venue, you know, in the event that happens. I mean, because, you know, obviously, ideally, we want to keep it downtown, but if the weather doesn't cooperate, just a thought. So,
yeah, that's something we can discuss in our planning meeting.
Yeah, but great feedback, Jessica. Thank you.
Yes, great suggestions, everyone. Do we have anything else to add about Art Walk? No? All right, then we will forge forward with next year's Art Walk and hope for the best. Okay, let's go on to RFQs for the trailhead sculpture. I think, Katie, are you one of the people on that committee?
If I believe so, and I haven't met with anyone recently, so I apologize if I missed something. But
We haven't met since then. I was one of the other ones, so someone will need to replace me on that subcommittee, and then
Yeah,
Meg was the other.
Jolene and Meg, right?
Yep.
And Aaron and I, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see if I have notes. I think I have a note from May 12th, which was our last meeting, in which I think we had just gotten to the, right, Abby, you definitely were there. Talked about-
Yeah, I think the last action was actually at your last meeting when you made a couple of minor changes and you recommended that I send it out. And I was going to send it out, but then the Public Works Committee, we had asked the Public Works Committee to weigh in on it. And their motion was to provide input to the Arts Committee for consideration of revising the draft RFQ prior to soliciting interest from local artists. And then they provided 5 specific bullet points. One is reinforce in the RFQ that the art installation is limited to a sculpture. The current draft only references that in the title. Number 2, contact WisDOT regarding their interest in this RFQ related to a sculpture proposed in the Parmenter Street right-of-way. The public right-of-way is owned by WisDOT. I have reached out to WisDOT. They are reviewing it. I have not gotten a determination yet. The third is to call Diggers Hotline. It's lengthy, but it's basically when you dig, you have to call Diggers Hotline. The fourth is provide travel reimbursement consistent with the policy for travel expense reimbursement that is available to city employees. I don't know.
You mean for the artist?
Yeah, for the artists. So I don't know if maybe there was a concern with somebody on the Public Works Committee that
They would exceed?
it would exceed what would typically be offered for city employees, which we just follow the state guidelines for travel reimbursement. And then the fifth is modify the tentative project timeline to discourage winter installation. So if you all are okay with all of those, we can incorporate those into the RFP. I'm just waiting on the DOT to get back to me. And I have made clear to them that we are very concerned because of what happened with the Parmenter Street roundabout project. Hence the reason we're asking the question. They seem very confused about why anybody would have had a concern about the Parmenter roundabout project. So I had to like dig up the letter that we got from them and send it over to them. I was like, here's the letter that we got with the person's information on it, so we will just have to wait and see what they say.
Okay. Are you guys, I know Meg's not here, but is the subcommittee okay with those 5 points that Abby just brought up?
I'm gonna defer to Meg. Maybe we should have a meeting.
Okay,
Is
yeah,
that okay?
yeah,
Um,
you guys should probably meet and discuss it and then bring it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
at
sounds
first
good.
blush, it sounds fine to me.
I don't get a vote anymore, but it sounds good to me.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that you're not voting anymore.
Me too.
We
Um,
want to vote.
I think the only question I have is, I mean, because it kind of does sort of start pushing this towards a next year project. And as we've discussed, maybe our budget could be for 2 years worth of budget. So that's why I think if we're pushing it out, maybe, and the possibility of starting this year, especially if we include the part where we don't do any construction in winter, that limits our timeline.
Mm.
But we could still do the request for proposals once,
For Qualifications, yeah.
once the RFQ is done, we could still do that and start working on selecting an artist at least.
That's fair. I was just wondering if maybe we could combine some budget.
Does that money doesn't have to be used annually? It can be rolled over?
It's capital, so yeah, it can be rolled over.
Okay. Anything else with the,
Just the
Go
other
ahead,
side of that coin is we waited so long and this roundabout project didn't work. I'm just desperate to have this thing go. So I hope we can push it along.
I agree. It was 7 years in when I joined the committee. And we definitely don't want another situation like that where we're dragging it out and not getting done.
I'll reach out to Meg and see if we can meet maybe within the next week so that
She's
she's
She's in
approved.
London.
Oh, well, we probably shouldn't. we
I
should
don't know
wait
when
till
she's
back.
getting back.
Okay. Again, don't want to get in the way. Maybe we just can add wording that. Yeah, no, I don't want to get in the way of it going forward. So if we need to, if you want to not, motion to vote on it today, I'm not gonna object.
No, we're not voting. We're just getting an update.
Okay, sounds good.
So we don't need to vote on it.
Okay, great.
But if you guys want to meet and then, if you want to meet before our next meeting, that would be awesome because we'll be into July then. So, and if you can't, that's fine, but.
Probably agree over email. Discuss over email for this, just so that it can get out. Because Abby, just to go back to you, pending the subcommittee's approval, then you'll make these updates and send it out, or do we have to wait for a Diggers hotline, or is that just a change?
Pending, I mean, since you've already approved it and these are relatively minor changes, if the subcommittee is okay with it, I'll just send it out.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Okay. So, shall we move on then to maintenance of our collection?
So I emailed Dama about the invisible work, and I still have not heard back from them.
Oh,
However, I do have good news to report on the self-made man, which is that Oscar Leon has been in town the last 2 days, and he has completed the restoration of the bullet holes in our statue.
yay.
So you can see he's sent us some information describing the process. He covered it, he painted the holes. I have not gone out to see it in person. I did not have a vehicle available to me today. All the city cars were taken. So I didn't get a chance to go out this afternoon and look at the final work. But once I do, and if anybody else from the committee would like to go out and take a look, you can shoot me an email, let me know your thoughts, and then I will pay the final invoice.
That's great.
I think it looks pretty good from the photos.
Sure
Mhm.
does.
Yay, Oscar. Yeah, facial wound was particularly bad.
Where are the
Wow.
three locations? The arm, the face? Is it through to
Yeah.
the face?
Yeah.
And one of the chest?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the bullet went all the way through its face.
I live
Oh.
like really close to it. I'm like a minute from there. I could swing by and check it out.
That'd be great.
And I could probably swing on the way home tonight, so.
Yeah, for
Cool.
sure.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad to have that off of our plate finally as well. We've been working on that for a while. Okay, so now we just need to try to connect with Dama.
Yes, and I would, once Dama does get back to me and get me a date, I would love it if at least one arts committee member would come with to meet on site, because in addition to their repairing the bubbling in the sculpture, I also would like to talk to them about doing the UV coating at the same time, because the hardest part about that project is scaffolding. And they said that they would be assessing it on site and provide feedback. So it'd be nice to have at least one committee member along to take a look as well.
So then they would assess it on site and then give us an estimate before they started the work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Abby, I can, that's over near me-ish. I can meet you, so long as it's, well, like, let me know what the dates are and,
Okay.
yeah.
I will as soon as I hear back from Veronica.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, Jolene, we'll stick with you in special events.
Oh, sweet. Well, I think we talked last time, I brought this as a new agenda item last time, I believe, or maybe right before the art walk, I can't remember. But long story as long as it's just the idea that we have a subcommittee, or I propose that we have a subcommittee that can do smaller events, things like the Comic-Con, things like maybe a music event here or there. And I think that the consensus last time was that, in terms of using Abby's resources and time, we aren't going to ask for that. But I do want to say that what I'd like to do is perhaps in August, just because next month I'm traveling, come up with a specific plan and then basically solicit the committee for funding, not so much for planning and work, work hours on it, but funding of special events. So perhaps we can solicit some community ideas and planning and then be able to fund events like that.
All right, so we will keep that on our agenda as well.
If that's all right with everyone, then yes, please.
Okay. So youth center art projects. I have not started booking those yet. We have been basically doing October through May. And I am going to ask Gabrielle if we can just keep our same spot. We've had the same first Wednesday of the month spot. I have had quite a bit of interest from artists at Art Walk that want to do classes. So that's good news. Because I've, been trying to kind of mix up the different media so that it's not all the same. And if any of you who are artists would like to volunteer your time to do an hour, let me know. Last year we had several people from our committee that taught classes. Julia did a cartooning class and Meg did a drawing class, and then had those kids' drawings made into stickers. So I think if anybody wants to do that, then you can just email me and let me know. And if you have a month in mind that you want to do it, then let me know.
Can you remind me? So this is at the youth center?
It's at the youth center at Cromery.
Okay.
You have essentially an hour of time. You can get there a little bit early to set up, and you can take a little additional time to tear down, but the time you have with the kids is exactly an hour. And their parents start coming, and so, you know, you want to be wrapped up in that amount of time. The pottery, I got pictures of the pottery. I did not share them with Abby. I should have. The kids made some really creative pots. That was one of the 2 session classes. So if you have a bigger project that you want to do, it can be broken down into 2 consecutive
Is
segments.
this like an evening project then? It's like after school?
Yep,
What it is? Okay.
yep. And there's usually anywhere from 10 to 15 kids. We never know exactly how many are going to show up because it's a drop-in. So we don't exactly know how many. But anyway, we'll start booking those pretty soon. So if anybody wants to do a session, let me know. I think this year went really well. We had, it was pretty diverse, the artists we had, and the kids seemed to enjoy it.
Michelle just wanted to chime in and say that the silent auction, which at the Art Walk, which was for the benefit of this arts program, raised $985.
Yay.
We received 18 pieces for donation, actually 19 when you consider the Jeremiah's piece, which he kind of brought in it right at the end. And so we've decided to roll those over, I believe, for next year. And then, or, you know, we can keep them up, or basically just roll the pieces over though, because I think we can store them.
Yep.
And continue to raise funds for it. So you'll have, and I don't know what the amount was last year, but hopefully that will help in the program.
About 1,200 last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were 150 each, right?
I think so,
I
yeah.
thought we had maybe 1,500.
There were a couple of them that were more expensive. The pottery was
Oh.
more, but yes, 150 each, and then supplies.
Oh, okay.
So
I was just gonna put in a plug for this artist who has been doing work in Madison at youth organizations. His name is, shoot, what is his name? He goes by Peeled, but I forget what his full name is. But he just did a piece working with students that's displayed at a middle school in Madison. And I just thought maybe like this type of artwork might be interactive and fun for the kids to work on.
yeah, do you want to send me a link to his Instagram and I'll reach out?
Yes, I will.
Thanks. We have Meryl, the glass artist that was at Art Walk, wants to do something. Kira, I can't think of her last name, wants to do a painting piece. We talked about doing like, you know, a collective piece that the kids all work on, small canvases. And the artworks, the ones that brought the old printing press, they would like to do something. So I don't think I'm gonna have as much trouble filling them this year. By the way, I want you all to know that that's an editor's press. And back in the day, that would have sat next to my desk and I would have set type in it and then cranked it to crank out a page. So my job's gotten a lot easier.
Wow, that's amazing.
All right, so shall we move on to pop-up art then?
So Erin is, I'm not sure if Erin's still at her computer, but I know for sure we have 7:13 and 7:20. And we made sure to include that in the little Facebook event icon that the Arts Committee would be participating in summer fun at the Stonehorse Green for those 2 nights. We will have the road closed for both of those evenings, and the library will be participating as a pop-up for one of them. The only thing I was wanting to ask is have any of the other Stonehorse Green events been scheduled for pop-up art? Because I would like to be sure that we get you in our promo stuff if you are going to be there.
I don't know, that's an Erin question.
I can
Sorry,
just-
guys, I'm here. I just needed to walk away from crying children and have to pick out the Boy Scout shirts, Abby.
Oh, I do too, and I'm already here if you want me to grab yours for you and get them to you.
Alright.
I also have to be down to the Stonehorse Green to deliver the trivia prizes by 7. Busy
Okay,
life.
what time is it?
It's 6:29.
All right, we got time. So, pop-up art, the question was, did you have any scheduled for Stone Horse Green events that Abby needs to publicize?
Besides 7:13 and 7:20.
Not in stone yet, no.
Okay.
There's two that Kylie asked me about doing. And I do have the dates for those I can send out. One is in October, like hunting for pumpkins things. That would be at Lakeview. And then the other one's the usual Santa parade, also at Lakeview.
Okay.
But yeah, I could sure use, one of my coworkers is going to help volunteer with one of the dates, but if anyone else would like to help volunteer for the 13th or the 20th, I can just send out an email and that would be great. Any ideas are welcome, or just extra hands when we get hit with 20 kids at once.
Erin, do you have like specific projects, or are you looking for projects, or are you bagging things up again, or how are you gonna do the ones at Stone Horse Green?
So for Stone Horse Green, and Abby, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming we would have a table like the original ones we did,
Yes.
right? So yeah, in
Yeah,
that
I
case,
can
I was just gonna make like, 2 or 3 different craft options as like demo ones. The kids usually like to see that, so they have some kind of direction, and then just have all the supplies, and half the kids do one of the demo ones and half of them just, do their own kind of Picasso thing. So
The hand puppets were popular. Making your own hand puppet with a grocery or a lunch bag.
the paper. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have.
We had
bunch
some
of-
examples like a bird and a monkey and different things, but the kids were pretty creative in making aliens and insects and all sorts of other stuff too. So I know that Meg and I both have links to some of the stuff that we did early on. I can see if I can find the emails from those. If you want to look those over.
We should put all those into like a central file that I
Yeah.
can keep and everybody can have access to them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, what Meg and I did at the beginning, when we first started doing this, was we just went online and just started looking for kids art, quick art projects, easy art projects. Do you need supplies? You got a budget for supplies. Do you need supplies? Or are you good?
No, I bought a whole bunch for the last round that we just, for weather-wise or lack of advertising, was just Jolene and I, and now the mayor and her daughter. So yeah, we have plenty, and I mean, I will come in easily under budget for what we allocated this year. So if there's extra
Okay.
stuff we want to grab, there's definitely room.
Okay, sounds good. So Erin needs volunteers, everybody. If you would like to volunteer. I might be able to do the 20th, but I'm out on the 13th, so I will let you know.
Okay, yeah, I'll send out an email as soon as I get home tonight. And then, yeah, any volunteers are welcome.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay, well, let's hear about the shelters.
So we're getting closer. Our council approved our budget for moving the shelters, which we thought we could get done in-house, but our crew is like very, very tightly staffed right now. And they didn't have time to move them for us. So we took something to the council to get a budget, and now we're looking for a contractor who can move the shelters. And I don't want to get the art installed until they're moved because I'm afraid it'll get like dinged up during the move.
Mhm.
So we're getting closer though.
All right. The last one is donor box funding, and I would really like to get this off the ground. How far away are we from having that complete?
I have not worked on it, so I'm so sorry. I've been busy with a whole bunch of other things, but I will try to get it prioritized so we can get it on the website.
Okay, awesome. Because then we can get some money coming in, hopefully.
Hopefully so.
All right. So that is everything on the agenda. Are we meeting at our regular time next month?
Well, that's a good question. I was wondering. So next month, our normal meeting would be on Thursday, the 20th of July. I was wondering if it might be possible to move that meeting back by 1 hour because my husband is going to be out of town and my son has a soccer game from 5 to 6. So I was still hoping to be able to take him to his game, then get back to my house. And I was also wondering if we could do it fully remote instead of hybrid.
That's okay with me. What do the rest of you think?
Tell me
Sure,
the
yeah.
date again.
It would be Thursday, July 20th. And instead of 5:30, we would meet an hour later at 6:30, which gives me time to get from Kiva to my home and start my Zoom.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna have to ask the CDA for a week before for the same thing because my husband's gonna be out of town that night too. So I think 6:30, just 6:30 be fine if you all are okay, just
Agreed.
moving it an hour.
Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Abby,
Okay.
count me as okay for CDA that week of the 13th.
Okay, cool, thank you.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to end our meeting?
I will move adjourn. This is Katie.
Second, anyone?
I'll second. This is Jolene.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thanks, everyone. We got Abby out of here in plenty of time to get to Stone Horse Green.
Yep. It looks like Erin's off, so she must have gone to get her t-shirt on her own.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.